Hey guys, it is Thursday, February 3rd at about 9 o'clock. I'm doing this video because I realized that I'm almost at my 3-year mark for starting testosterone. And it is interesting that so much time has passed and I can still have these moments where everything feels more similar to maybe a year or so. I'm in school full-time and I'm working part-time at Stonewall Alliance Center, which is a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning queer, intersex, ally community center. I'm the youth coordinator, and so I work with a teens program, and it's a new job. I started that in January, and working on developing that program and growing that program. And so I'm doing that 15 hours a week, and then I'm doing a bunch of volunteer stuff, and then I'm taking 22 units. So that equals very busy, very busy. But this is all in hopes to get into grad school for my MSW, Masters in Social Work. In August is my goal. And it's really important that I successfully make it through this semester so that I can do grad school in 2 years, so that hopefully I can start working on getting licensure for licensed clinical social workers to do some private practice stuff, specifically working with queer community and the gender, queer, trans community here in Chico is my goal. And additionally to teach. I would love to teach in multicultural gender studies, women's studies, sociology, social work, all kind of stuff. So my point in all that is that I feel like I've been having these moments where my chronological age doesn't necessarily match up with my experience age, and I think that shows up really profoundly in classrooms and education, because the people that are in classes with are 18 to 25 for the most part, and their lives and experiences and conversations are very different than mine. And when I'm standing outside of a class that is, the door is locked, and this guy walks up to these 3 women and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" It was like very cheesy, trying to hit on them, awkward 18-year-old. They laugh and run off to the bathroom together holding hands, and I'm standing there going, "What the fuck am I doing here? Why am I here, and why am I listening to this? And if I'm listening to this, shouldn't I be listening to this as their instructor or their professor?" And then I kind of go to this, like, I should be at work. I should be like on some important phone call talking to somebody about something important. And it's all very silly in some regard, because this is where I'm at and this is what I'm doing, and shoulds are terrible. It's a terrible word that causes a tremendous amount of disappointment and pain in people's lives. So I'm not a big advocate of the should, but I found myself definitely shoulding myself in that particular moment. So in that, my point with that whole story, when I start talking about that it's been almost 3 years, is that I wonder what my life would be like if I wasn't trans, if I was either a cis man, or I was, I felt okay about having a female body, and how being trans and even not even being aware of it for so long altered my path. And I wonder how many other people feel that way, because almost 35, excuse me, like 34 and a half. It's weird when you reach a certain age and other people, you can relate to this. I'm sure you just start like adding numbers because it just feels better. So it's like I'm almost 35. I'm not even quite 34 and a half yet, but I feel almost 35. And what would I be like at 35 if I wasn't trans? And this is not a pity party. This is just like, this is real. Like, being trans and going through the things that I had to go through to get to the place to understand that I was trans, and then to go through the whole process of fucking talking about being trans and transitioning and all that kind of stuff. It's like, that takes up time and space and emotion, and it interferes and impacts paths, destinies in people's lives. I don't know if it's destinies. Maybe this is my destiny if one believes in destiny. I don't know. I just know that I just didn't see it going this way, and I question and I wonder what my life would be like otherwise. So, and maybe this is part of, Charles Asher did on YouTube. Charles Asher did a video not too long ago. It was transgender despair, I think was the title of it. And maybe this is part of that, you know, like he mentioned the lost childhood, the lost years of our lives, and maybe this is part of that despair, and that never goes away. It's that constant process of grieving. We just kind of move in and out of different cycles at different times, but I don't know. Will I ever not be grieving? Will I ever not grieve my body? Will I ever not grieve the loss of a childhood and childhood experiences? Will I ever not grieve the changed and altered relationships with family members? Will I ever not grieve this whole laundry list of stuff that I'm not going to bore you all with? I don't know. I think I get better at grieving, and when I slide into the yucks, I figure out how to slide out of them faster. But there's a constant sense of grieving, and there's also a constant sense that I'm experiencing right now of hypervigilance and fear and awareness. And I also wonder, as I approach 3 years, if that will be different or experienced different in 5 years, and if so, how, and in what ways. And will I celebrate all those ways? Will I celebrate all the ways in which it's different? Because different doesn't always mean good, and it doesn't always mean bad. It's different. And so I think that it was interesting. I've been pretty open about I was able to finance my top surgery with the assistance of money that one sometimes gets while they're in school. So it's about as direct as I'm willing to record and film the internet. But you can draw your own conclusions there. And I think I've actually overtly said it in other videos. I'm just not willing to say it right now. So so this time around, I've been out of school for a little while and going back to school, and was doing financial aid and different stuff, and had enough money to have a simple metoidioplasty with Dr. Bowers. And you know, she's now practicing in San Francisco, and she's one of the few people that do simple metoidioplasties. And it's not that I want a simple metoidioplasty. I would love to have metoidioplasty with urethral extension, and I would love to have a hysterectomy. I would love to not have ovaries or uterus. I would love to have that stuff, but financially, I'm not in a position where that's a reality for me, and and I don't know that it ever will be. As a social worker, I don't know. Hopefully, but if it's not, then it's not, and I'm just gonna come to terms with that. But so I had enough money, and Christia and I had talked about it, and Christia was very supportive of me going to see Dr. Bowers and getting a metoidioplasty, simple metoidioplasty, so basically just a release. Because I struggle a lot. I struggle a lot with dysphoria, and I don't know if surgery would have made that better, but it probably wouldn't have hurt. Well, I mean, surgery would hurt, but it probably wouldn't hurt with making that a little bit better. So, kind of had it all planned out, and all was just, you know, got it all lined up to get my 2 letters, and everything was good to go. And then I decided not to do it. And I didn't decide not to do it because I don't want it. I decided not to do it because it didn't feel like the right time financially for Christy and I and our family, and hopefully the development of our family. And but it also, you know, it brought up this thing of, so what if I go spend this money, $5,000 basically, to get this simple metoidioplasty? And yeah, so it looks different, the flesh looks different, and will it function differently? Maybe a little bit, I don't know. But it will still be what it is. It's just gonna look a little different, and I will still be who I am, and I will still have the experiences that I have, and I will still have this hybrid thing that is overwhelmingly unrecognizable. Yeah, you know, I was just thinking, it's like part of the issue for me is that, and I think this is true for a lot of trans men, and maybe even trans women, but I think there's more images of trans women, and unfortunately they're exploitive images, like through porn or whatever, but there's not a lot of images of trans men. We don't necessarily get to see other trans men nude. We can see a lot of chest, but we don't get to see a lot of genitals. And so There's no place to be like, oh, okay, that's normal, whatever normal is. But cis folks, nudity's plentiful out there, and so you get to see yourself. You're mirrored, and trans men are not mirrored all that often. So you have to be pretty intentional about seeking that out, and that's been a difficult thing for me to understand or to feel normal with who I am and what's going on. So all of this with the 3-year mark. This is where I'm at, and these are the things that I'm thinking, and it doesn't feel all that different than 3 years ago. I'm different, and my experiences are different, and I look different, and my thoughts and the things that I talk about are on a deeper level, and I feel less fragile. I fucking got heard the other day. HER apostrophe T. I went to take my bike to the bike shop, and this dude's been my bike mechanic for years, and he knew me before I transitioned, and there was a new bike mechanic that was working with me, and he had to go, and so the new bike mechanic was like, hey, can you fix his tire, blah, 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 and the old bike mechanic was like, yeah, I'll get to hers in just a second. And so like I turn and look around, and I'm the only one in the shop. I'm the only one. Like there's no other potential her that he's talking about. And despite, it's not like I'm, rocking the beard, although I'm trying my damnedest to grow facial hair. I haven't shaved in, this is me, my face, not shaving in 3 weeks, a month. And this is all there is. You see that? This way. That's all there is. Tragic. So it's not like I have a big face of hair or whatever, but I don't think I look or sound like a woman. I don't think I have female energy. I don't think there's anything overtly in a visual way female or feminine about me. Yet this man is connected to calling me her because he can't figure out how to make connections or a pathway to switch his gender mark, to switch my gender marker in his head. He met me as her, and despite all of the evidence that's being presented to him, despite everything about what he is seeing and what he is hearing, he can only come up with her. That says a shitload about our community and our society. That says so much about the rigidity and the inability for people to work through the binary and work through, what am I trying to say? It's, I don't even know. I'm just super overwhelmed. And then I saw my tattoo in the picture and realized that I've gotten 2 new tattoos. So this one, Transcends, and my duck matches this one, which is like, oh, Evolution. And then the other one that I got is that one. And so I'm super stoked because, tattoos. So instead of getting metoidioplasty, I spent a little bit of that money on some tattoos. So my phone's ringing, so I guess it's the end of the video.